All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, we got a great one for you right here, right now. We got the legendary Smooth B of the iconic hip hop duo Nice and Smooth right here, right now, live on the line. How are you doing this evening?
Yeah, yeah. Man, I'm feeling pretty good, man. You know, I can't complain, brother. I cannot complain.
Hey man, same here. I first and foremost have to say quickly before we jump into this there, Smooth. I've been a huge fan of you for years, so thank you so much for just giving us a little bit of your time this evening.
Absolutely, bro. It's all love. You already know.
And I gotta ask you, Smooth, like, what inspired you to actually get into the music industry initially?
Initially, I tell you the funny thing about it was, I never really thought about, like, I was always surrounded from a child, around, like, soul music and all of that. You know what I mean? And at parties, my family used to go parties and all of that. And so, growing up in the South Bronx, you know what I'm saying? I grew up in the Bronx, and growing up in the 70s, seeing Grandmaster Flash in the park, his original MCs, the Furious Five, and oh man, Grand Wizard Theodore, and all of the Cool Herc. I used to go to Cool Herc jams in the park. There was a few parks, Valley Park. I saw Cool Herc. I saw him in the Tab Schoolyard. I saw Flash. And so these guys, they were basically from my neighborhood, or reachable, maybe like within a 3-mile radius of where I lived and grew up. And so it was all around me, you dig? And as far as hip hop, I started to pick up the knack and try to put my little rhymes together and all of that back in the days. And but back then I was younger, of course, but I had a light voice, and all of those other guys had those true original MC voices like Melody Bell, Curtis Blow, and all those guys. So I never thought that I had the voice for it, ironically. And I just would write my little rhymes here and there, and I was just basically inspired by the original pioneers that I would see in my neighborhood. And then as time went on, everything evolved.
And the one thing I do want to bring up, because I do know that, some fans of yours might not know this, but way before the duo of Nice and Smooth, you actually wrote all the raps for Bobby Brown and also went on tour with him. I have to ask you, how did yourself and Bobby Brown meet? And of course, what was it like actually just being able to work with him and go on tour?
Oh man, it was amazing. It was fascinating because you gotta imagine, I didn't know anybody in the industry. You know what I mean? So it was haphazard, and I guess it was a part of destiny because actually at that moment in time, I had got a job as a messenger. So I used to be either walking or they had different agencies, little messenger agencies. So I started off as a bike messenger. Then I started walking in different spots. I ended up becoming a messenger for a film company. Xerox type of company. So anyway, I'm walking through Midtown on this particular day, and I walked into Mixmaster Ice from UTFO, who at the time was working with Bobby on his album, on his first solo album, King of Stage. And I had just met Mix a couple of weeks before that day, and it was crazy. So when I met him, I met him through this DJ Holiday that was looked at my block, and he introduced me to him. And Holiday was a roadie for TFO. So anyway, he would tell me all the stories on, Bo's stories and all of this stuff. And man, it was fascinating stories. And so he said, one day I came through the crib and Mixmaster Ice came over and I rhymed for Mixmaster Ice. When you got somebody that has a hit record out at this in that moment in time, you know what I'm saying, in real time, and they're the DJ, and you got to remember, this whole thing hip hop started with the DJ. You know what I'm saying? So you got a dope DJ, Mixmaster Ice, shout out to Mixmaster Ice. So you got a dope DJ with the #1 group at that time, which was UTFO, and then you rhyme for him, and he tell you dope. So that makes you that inspires you. So what happened was I got pumped. You know what I'm saying? I must have hit him with about 100 bars that night, and I was pumped. And so I went home and I was, yeah. Because every day I was trying to, figure out how I was going to make my demos, and it was just an intricate plot I had back in the days. And I actually became a messenger so that I could, because back in the days when you bought albums, everyone read the back of the album, you read the artwork, and so me, I would always be fascinated as to where the record companies were located. So I used to look on the back and see where they were. So I knew CBS was on 52nd Street, and I knew this and that. I knew different locations of record companies according to who my favorite artist was. So long story short, I came with this intricate plot to become a messenger. That way, I could walk around. Back then, they had Walkmans that just came out. I had my Sony Walkman, and I said, look, I can walk around, listen to my demos, practice my rhymes, and make a little change in my pocket. So that was my plot. And little did I know that this one particular day, I was going to run back into Mixmaster Ice, who then was waiting in front of the Omni Hotel on 7th Avenue in Manhattan. And then Bobby came out, and he introduced me to Bobby. And they were on their way to the studio. So as he introduced me, he said, yo, Bobby, man, his name is Smooth B. It's an MC from the Bronx, man. He's dope. Like that. So Bobby said, bring him to the studio then. Like that. And I was like, I'm standing there, because I'm in between a delivery. So I was like, oh, nah, I can't, man. I'm on the clock. And he was like, you on the clock? What you do? And I had my package on the side. I was like, yeah, I'm a messenger. So he was like, all right, well, then come by later, man. And so Mixmaster kept going, saying, yo, he's dope, B. He's dope. And Bob was like, all right. And so he told me, the room they were in and all this other stuff. And then I ended up going to the hotel later on that night after I got off work. And we all met up, and he was there. While I'm sitting there, LL walked through the door. Cool DJ Red Alert walked through the door. Eric B walked through the door, and Eric B wasn't out yet. Check out my melody hadn't come out and all that. So it was just one of those crazy. The first time I hung out with this guy was nuts. It's like celebrities, rap icons walking through the door, checking Bobby, and then the next day he was like, I'm going to the studio, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna roll, and I went. And at that time, Dr. Ice was supposed to be his writer, and Dr. Ice didn't make it that day. Woo! What fate! The planets lined up for your brother Smooth B, because guess what? When he didn't make it, I said, I got you, B. And then, I just started writing for him, and after that, he was like, I want you to be my writer. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be your producer. And, we just started rolling, and I went on the road with him, and I was singing background with him and all of that. Just learning, man. I was fun, just drinking it all in, man.
And going back to that, Smooth, when you actually said that you didn't know anybody in the industry, I gotta say, Bobby Brown is a phenomenal start for the first person you actually know in the industry.
Exactly. That's what I was saying.
You know what I mean? Most people start off with a few independent friends or whatnot, but you start off with Bobby freaking Brown. Like that's a huge accomplishment.
Man, it was such a jump, and I guess in hindsight, I realized that in life there's no, no stone unturned, or should I say, nothing is in vain. So I think a part of the destiny was the fact that I love hip hop so much, and I always wanted to be a part of it. And so, it just was deep, man. I was on a mission. I wanted to mix singing with rapping. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to bring the routines back because the earlier groups, were all about the routines, and they would be singing melodies with like the Cold Crush and Fantastic Romantic 5-inch Steves and different dope MCs of that era. And so they all had routines, and that's what inspired me. So by the time I met Greg, when I met Bobby, I had R&B songs that I had written, raps, and all of that. So Bobby was tripping. He was like, yo, you can sing? I was like, yeah, I can hold a note. And then next thing you know, I went on the road with him. I was singing back, like, man, it was amazing, man. It was an amazing start off, man. Definitely.
And also, as we already know, you're a member of the iconic hip-hop duo Nice and Smooth. If you don't mind me asking, how did yourself and Greg Nice actually get connected?
Man, I'll tell you a funny thing. While I was on the road with Bobby, I meet this other guy, because it's like the people you meet, right, along the way. So this guy named is Lance Romance. And Lance Romance, he lived in the Bronx. Now, nobody really knew what Lance did, like for a living. Like Lance just was a guy that popped up everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So he was just, Bobby met him, and then the next thing you know, he just was like, look, guys, give me your itinerary, I'll get y'all. So he would He would leave off the road and then meet us in Texas. And leave off the road and come back and meet us in Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? Just, and always, it just, that was land. So at the end of the tour, we headed back to New York, and he gets off plane in New York to me. And so it hit me once I got downstairs. I was like, yo, what's up, dude? What you doing in New York? Because all the while we were on the road, I thought he was from Texas. So I was like, dude, don't you live in Texas? He said, no, I'm from Texas, but I don't live in Texas. I live in the Bronx. And I was like, dude, I live in the Bronx. And then it was crazy. So he was like, you know what? Because while we were on the road, I had a conversation at a point with Bobby, because, of course, Bobby was the producer. So he was like, Bobby had the band and all that, So he was like, when we produce your album, you can have a band, rocking with you, and then, we take that on the road and so forth and so on. But it was like, Run DMC was like, we Run DMC rocking without a band, like that new era of the 80s, like, no band stuff. So I was like, well, nah, I don't really want to rock with a band. I was like, but I said, because it's a way that these tracks are doing this shit. And I was trying to explain sampling. I was like, they're taking the original music from more records and boom, 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 boom. That's where the sound is going. So Bob was like, well, I said, yeah. So I was like, I'm going to go to New York, I'm going to make a couple of demos, and then we'll meet back up and we start working. And he was like, all right, bet. And then homie was like, yo, I know a dude that knows how to, put beats together and all of that. He's a young guy, man. His name is Greg Knight. They call him Greg Knight. I go, yeah? He said, yeah. So then he introduced me to Greg, and then we started kicking it. But at the moment in time, Greg Knight was actually in a group with this dude named June Love. Peace and blessings be upon June. So long story short, we hit it off. And originally, Greg Knight used to do the human beatbox. That was his thing. And Greg wasn't really thinking about rapping back then. He never wanted to be a rapper. So one thing led to another. And we got into a cipher. And it was amazing. We must have rhymed for hours, man. It was like we got the 40 ounces out, and we just started going in. And so me and June Love, it was deep because he was from the same fabric. He was like, yo, I like routines and sing-alongs and all of that. But, I played, by that time I had a couple of demos. So we were playing demos for one another and rhyming in the cipher. And we had a good time. And so at the end, June said, yo, man, one of these days we got to do a record together. And I said, yeah, absolutely. And then, I said, in a couple of days, because I had 3 days later, I was going back on the road, Bobby. So I was like, I'm going to go back on the road. But when I come back, we go in the lab. He said it like that. And then while I was on the road, 2, maybe 3 weeks later, June Love was murdered. And that was crazy. So when I came back to New York, I find this news out. I go see Greg. Greg is at a state of like, what the hell is going on? Where are we going? What's the next move? And I said, well, listen. I said, I like to keep my word. I said, the last thing I said to June was one day we'll get records together. I said, so what was the last song y'all did? It was like a song called Skill Trade. I said, how's it go? And he was like, together we cool in the mind, And I said, I said, okay, so I tell you what. We're going to go in, and we're going to do that and dedicate it to June. That's what we're going to do. And if we get any traction, we're going to just put it out ourselves. I said, and if we get any traction, then, we'll see his family. And, I said, but you got to rhyme. I said, you got to stay June's line, because you're the only one that was close enough to him to know his rap. I said, so you got to keep his style alive. And so that's what Greg did. So he was like, but I'm not a rapper. I was like, you will be.
Well, and you know what? Look at Greg now. After all these years, he's still doing it. So he most definitely is a hip-hop artist now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And also, in 1989, yourself along with Greg Nice actually did an appearance on Big Daddy Kane's song Pimpin' Ain't Easy. I have to ask you, what was it like actually just doing that guest appearance so early in your guys' career with such a big New York City legend?
Yeah, let me tell you what's so deep about that. like, we used to go to this club called the Latin Quarters, right? And everybody would be there. And so we knew Kane. I used to hang out with Biz. I used to hang out with Biz a lot. And Greg used to hang out with Kane. And, and so, but at the Latin Quarters, this is us, Jane the Games, Slick Rick, all the cats. Josie Love, you know what I'm saying? And we'd all be hanging. And one by one, we'd all be together. We all were together when nobody had a record store and everybody was trying to get on. So one by one, like Cass would tell us, either there or Union Square, and they would say, yo, my record's coming out, or, when are we going to start playing it on the radio? And so, if it was Dane, I mean, when Dane first came out. And so when he came out with Cinderella, but Nightmares. When he came out with Nightmares, we hung out at the Latin Quarters, and we loved to stand in the Latin Quarters and listen to DJs Red Alert play it, because that was Red's house, and we would listen to Red play everybody's records. So we would have laughed at the Mohican. It was like everybody was coming out before us, and it was hilarious. And we just watched the cats blow up. So Kane was a friend. That was our dude. So we watched Raw and Flop and Set It Off and all that. And Kane admired our style. He liked, he liked the way we sing rap and all that. He was like, yo, dude, you crazy, man. Yo, you want crazy dude, Smooth. That's my Kane impersonation. Yo, you a crazy brother. So he said one day we were all hanging out, and back then everybody was like in their pimp mode, pimp vibe. So, that was our thing. So I was like, all right, let's go. So, they like, Dan wanted to do a song called Pimpin' Ain't Easy. So, we just went out to the studio. I think we was in Queens. Yeah, studio in Queens, and we just did it, man. So that was our first, like pop off before we actually dropped.
And the one last question pertaining to Nice and Smooth that I have is one that I've always wanted to ask you myself. And one of my favorite songs that you guys did is Old to the New. And I have to ask you, what is the story and inspiration behind that iconic song? Because I still play that record, Smooth, like it came out yesterday.
Oh, man, that Old to the New is just like a celebration to a fun, energetic vibe of hip-hop that we grew up on, that we felt was, I don't know, man, like, disappearing at that moment in time. At that moment in time, when we dropped that, it was like 93, 94. The hip-hop was just, it was about change, and we wanted to keep the whole authentic spirit of it, from the track to the lyrics, the lyrical content and all of that. So that's what that was. That was, Old to the New was like a celebration of true hip-hop, from a Nice and Smooth perspective. Absolutely. Yeah.
And also, you had the opportunity to actually work with the late, great Tupac Amaru Shakur. I have to ask you, I know you probably spent countless memories with him, but what is one of your most fondest memories that you actually remember of the late, great Tupac?
Man, yeah, we had quite a few. The thing would be funny with Pac, like, whenever I ran into Pac, I knew it was going to be an adventure. I knew it. You just know it. And so, let me see, one of my faves, man, I got a couple of them. All right, let me see. I got one for you. All right, one time. Oh no, this one is better. Okay, I got one. So we on our way to the Bay Area, Nice and Smooth. So we already in LA. So we had a KMEL out in Oakland. That was the big station out there, the power station at that time. It probably still is, but the thing was they had this big, like a summer jam. Whoa! And they had like 1 million artists on it. You know what I'm saying? It was just crazy. So it was us, Too Short, Hammer. It was so many dope artists on one bill. Naughty by Nature, Queen Latifah, KRS One. It was just, the list goes on and on, right? So we didn't know that it was that big. It was like, you're going to do the KMEL Summer Jam. So we were like, all right, bet. And so when we got there, we started seeing everybody, and then I actually saw the billing. It was like 20, almost 30 artists. In front of 30,000 So, but anyway, before we get there, we in LA, so we know that we're going to drive to the Bay Area, all right? So we got the Def Jam rep, getting ready to pick us up, and I was like, yo, all right, bet. I said, well, before I leave LA, because we used to love Roscoe's, Roscoe Chicken and Waffle. So it was like, yo, before we leave LA, we got to go by Roscoe's. So we were like, yeah. So we said, we do lunch at Roscoe's, and then we hit the road. So all right, boom. We get to Roscoe's, who's sitting up in there? Tupac. So I'm like, yo, Bob. He's like, yeah. And we start hugging and bugging. And he was like, what y'all doing, man? We're chilling. He said, where you going? He said, where y'all headed? Yo, he said, what y'all getting into? I said, well, we getting this lunch. I said, and then we're going to go to the Bay. And he was like, what? And I said, yeah. He said, yeah. He said, I got something to do in San Diego, and then I'm going to go to Oakland. I said, we're going to the KML joint. And then he was like, oh, y'all, I don't bother with y'all. So he rolled with us. Dude, so we on the highway, like, so he got his crew with him. He got his couple of boys, and then they're following up like on some caravan. So, next thing we know, you still with me? Yeah, you still there. I thought I lost you for a minute.
Oh, I'm still here. We're still here, yeah.
All right, that's good. So long story short, we on our way, and so now we hit the highway, and Pac and them get pulled over. So I'm like, oh no, right? So the rep is the Def Jam rep. Was like, we gotta get there by a certain time. I was like, nah, we not leaving them. I said, pull over, right? So now everybody looking at me all crazy. Come on, man, let him. I said, dude, we not leaving them on this highway like this, dude. And he just gonna work out, and they like, what happened? I know his papers was correct and all that. So we pulled, we were a few feet from them and pulled over. Then we waited. The next, they started back up. We was like, all right, let's go. So we got there, went crazy. Pop ended up getting a chance to crash the show. Oh, it was insane, dude. Woo! It was like, I don't know, man. I can't even speak. And then the truck got into, they started bugging and wilding up. It was crazy. That night was bananas. But just to the mere fact that we ran into him and he was like, yeah, I'm coming. I'm going to the Bay with y'all. It was just like, it was always those type of fun.
And I bet you the crowd probably went ape shit. Excuse my language. Whenever Pac came on the stage, they probably just tore the joint up.
Yo, they went freaking bananas because he wasn't on the bill. So when he walked out on the stage, so I was like, fuck that, let's stay close up. And then we spoke to the program director, and he was like bugging, like, oh shit. Yeah, no, you can go out and do your shit. You can do a couple of songs. Woo! So that happened, and the rest of this was working history, boy. Woo!
And I gotta say quickly, just rest in paradise to the late great Tupac, man. One of the best hip-hop artists to ever do it.
Yeah.
And also, I'm jumping ahead in the timeline quite a bit here, but in April of this year, you actually dropped a single titled Before, which I have to say, it's probably one of the most inspirational songs that I've actually heard in this decade. And I have to ask you, what is the story and inspiration behind that amazing song, and where can our listeners buy or stream themselves a copy?
Oh, absolutely. Okay, well, I'll tell you that first, and I'll tell you inspiration. You can actually get Before. It's on all platforms. Anybody can get it. It's on all platforms. And we're about to actually release the remix to Before, featuring the Outlaws. Oh, you're gonna love this one. You're gonna love this one. So basically, the inspiration for Before was like, I was just at a different space. The last few years, just going through different things in life. I don't know if I'm gonna drop something. Rocking with my son. Shout out to King Malachi, my daughter Genesis and Hazel. You know what I'm saying? So, but my kids are artists also. So I've been working with them over the years, but over the past few years. But the thing is, I just wasn't really feeling it. But I wanted to. I just wanted. How you got something else in you, but it takes that spark. Like certain things. I don't know. Certain things take place and then it lights up. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to wait. I don't play with this game, so I'll be like, nah. I know the feeling, and if I don't have that feeling, I'm let anybody know, nah, it's just not time, B. because I'm not going to play with it. So, long story short, I asked the Most High, I asked God, because that's, whom all gifts flow from. And I was just like, I just had a conversation with the Most High. I was like, look, man, you created me. So, like, I need that spark, that feeling like I had when this game was new to me. I just started. I need that. You know what I'm saying? And as long as you spark me again, I'll wait. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna rush. It's a few years ago. So one thing led to another, and then there were a few turn of events. Kept going. And then one day, me and my wife were walking through this 99-cent store. And, when I was a kid, I grew up on, all types of music. But we was, hip-hop, early hip-hop mixed everything thanks to Bambaataa. He used to be playing rock records, Cerrone, Queen, or, Bob James, all types of stuff like that. And so I got up on Elton John at a young age. So I hadn't heard the song, I guess that's why they call it the blues, in years. I'm talking about years. So walking in the supermarket with my wife, and the song, I guess that's why they call it the blues, comes on. And I was like, oh, and I stopped in the middle of the aisle. And I was like, because when I first heard it, I forgot it was Elton. I was like, wait a minute, I know this. This is that shit. I started tripping. So I pull out my phone and I did the Shazam, and I said, yeah, Elton. So, and it automatically gave me a lot of memories of my childhood. Automatically, memories of something. And so it was like as if I could see vivid pictures of my upbringing. And so I said to my wife, she just saw me standing in the middle of the aisle. She said, what's going on, babe? I said, no, I got it. I got the routine. I know what I'm going to do. And she was like, okay. So next thing I went home and I started writing it. And I started singing it to her, and she was like, oh, that's dope. Yeah, do your shit. I'm like, yeah. So, that's what made me like, so when I say it, I start off, I say, well, I guess that's what they call it, and I go into that. And I say, when I was young, I had to beat the clock before. I was the first one with Pumas on the block before, like that. So it was the theme, the fact that when I heard it again, after so many years, it brought back, memories of my youth. I figured I might as well include that in the storyboard of the rhyme. But when I was young, I had to beat the clock before. I was the first one with Pumas on the block before. I've been locked up before. I hit a ninja with a lock and a stock before. I left, I go in. I left chicks and shot before. Hustle weed and coke on the block before. Got a penicillin shot before. And I've smoked plenty of blunt with my ninja Tupac before. So, that's all, all actual facts on that record.
And I gotta say as well, with that song, when I actually purchased that single when it first dropped, I listened to that there, Smooth, and I have to say, I could call that soul-snatching music, because it really takes you to another place, man. You get lost. The song is phenomenal.
Oh, thank you, my brother. Oh, man, that means so much, brother. Believe me, that means a lot to me, man. That really means a lot to me, bro.
And also, another phenomenal song that you actually dropped not too long ago was titled Summer Cry, and I also noticed that it's been topping the charts like weeks upon weeks. And I have to ask you, after all these years, how does it feel that the legendary Smooth B is still topping charts and still making hits?
Yo, dude, this shit is it's phenomenal, bro. Like, I don't mean, can I curse?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I should have told you earlier. My apologies, Smooth. We're uncensored, so you can have right at it.
Say it again?
We're completely uncensored, so you can say whatever you like.
Okay, cool. All right. So anyway, just get this slip out. You know what I mean? But how does it feel? Dude, it feels amazing. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, something that you feel in your heart. I've always pretty much felt like I knew what was my instinct to the street. So I'm like, I think I really know. I got a hand on the pulse of this thing. You know what I'm saying? I can kind of gauge what I feel people will want to hear. But it's always been whatever I feel inside. If it makes me feel good, I use that as the litmus for the world. Or when my kids were young, kids don't lie when they're young. They learn lies. So when my kids were small, I I would just play music, and they wouldn't know. They'd be running by. If whatever I was playing stopped them in their track, and they started doing their little wiggle and dance, I said, that's a hit. You know what I'm saying? So they were my litmus, you know what I'm saying, back in the days. But, you know, it's like, you know how this game has changed and evolved, and people was like it was as if there were no place for the generals, man. No place for the original cat. And I'm like, yo, what are y'all talking about? People telling me things like boom bap is dead. Are you out your rabbit ass mind? Boom bap? Okay, I'll show you. Well, let me show you, man. So, yeah. To be able to top the charts, I went number one with Before, and I went number one with Summer Cry. And both of those songs are boom bap for that ass. So to be able to do that, and then people, you know, I got the great ones, you know, hitting my phone. You know, I got the calls from Grandmaster Flash, and, you know, LL gave me a phone call and was like, I'm proud of you, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, you know, so there you have it.
And I gotta ask you, Smooth, like, what's next for you? Is there any new projects coming out? Anything else you want to promote? We still have you here live on Outlaw Radio FM.
Yeah, my man, yeah. Oh, so check this out. I got the album, man. I'm stepping the album up for you guys, man. And it's gonna be a classic. It's strong, man. It's strong. And you know, we got some artists coming. I got King Malachi the God, Jenny Summers, you know what I'm saying? We got hold on, wait. I'm tripping. Okay, those guys, don't get mad at me. We got the Great MI coming, and we got my man. Hold on, wait. Oh, man. Yo, Igar, you there? Igar. Yo, thank you. Yo, can't tell me the God name we just signed. I'm bugging. Oh, Mike Beasley. Yes, I'm sorry, Mike. If you're out there, I love you, brother. You already know that, but so much on my mind.
And that's why you got a dope manager like Big Guy to help you out when you get a little sidetracked there.
That's what I'm saying. So we got Mike Beasley out of Atlanta. Oh my God, we got the youth coming, man. We got great MI in New York. Yeah. We got a lot of acts, man. We got Northern Right, Jamaica Legend, Northern Right. Yep. We got my nephew Marquise. He down in Georgia. Oh, this shit's about to be. We got Malachi the God. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I just was telling them, God. We got Malachi the God, Jimmy Summers, Grand Marquis. We gonna kill them.
It sounds like a phenomenal record, and I gotta say, there, Smooth, you had me at new record. I'm excited just hearing that. You know what I mean? I really am excited hearing that. And I gotta ask, what is the estimated release date? Do you guys have like kind of like a date stamped on that yet?
Yeah, we well, not the actual date, to be truthfully honest with you, because I'm still finishing up, and I'm putting them. You know, I'm a little extra, man, when it comes to this shit. I'm a perfectionist. So, but for the top of the we're gonna come with these singles for you, ASAP. Within the next few weeks, you're gonna see these videos for the remix of Before and for Summer Cry, and then you're gonna get the album the top of the new year. Top of the new year, King Kong bonging, baby.
Hey, most definitely. It's 2021 coming, and it's a takeover of Smooth B. That's what it is. He's reclaiming hip hop. You guys better watch out.
There you go, baby. I like the way. See, I like you, man. I like you all, baby. I like the way you speak my name.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest there, Smooth. I'm a huge fan of yours, man. So it's an honor to have you on my station. But the one thing I do gotta ask right quickly before we wrap things up there, Smooth. I have to ask you, man, this is the time in the interview that I give a chance for the individuals that slide into the radio station airwaves, just a chance to give shoutouts to whomever they want to give shoutouts to, and of course your social media handles. That way listeners can follow you if they're not already doing so. But I have to say, you are the legendary Smooth B, and they are listening to Outlaw Radio. So I really do hope they are already following you.
Yes. Okay, well check this out. On every platform, you can reach me by the legendary THE, the LEGENDARY, the legendary Smooth, SMOOTHB. The legendary Smooth B on Facebook. Legendary Smooth B on Instagram. Legendary Smooth B on Twitter. The legendary Smooth B on YouTube, baby. Let's go.
And I gotta say quickly, Smooth, thank you so much for all the years of amazing music. You know, you most definitely made a positive impact not only on my life, but thousands upon thousands and millions of individuals worldwide. So thank you for the years of music, and I'm looking forward to the years of more music to come.
My brother, thank you so very much, man. I got you covered like a blanket, baby.
Hey, man, sounds like a plan. Thank you so much again, Smooth. Have yourself a wonderful night, and I'm looking forward to those new projects. Hey, man, sounds like a plan. You know what I mean? Hopefully the borders open back up soon, man. 2020 is not a good year for shows, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's why Smooth, the legendary Smooth B, and the great MI have to make the summer cry.
That's a fact, Jack.
Hey, most definitely. Have yourself a wonderful night. Thank you so much, Smooth, and Big Eye, thank you again for making this possible.
Absolutely. Oh, yo, and a shout out to my main man, the funny Canadian Russell Peters. That's
Well,
my boy.
That's family. That's our brother. Yeah.
have yourselves a wonderful night. Thank you so much, guys.
Yes, my brother. All right.
Peace, brother.